Hello and welcome to English Story Plus. This is Julia's story. She works in a quiet bookstore. One day a simple meeting changes her days. Let's listen together. Julia is in her 20s. She is a quiet and gentle person. She works at a small second-hand bookstore in town. The shop is filled with shelves of old books. The smell of paper is always in the air. Customers come in, but not many. Julia helps them when they ask, but she does not talk much. When her work is done, Julia goes home to her small room. It is a simple room, with a desk, a chair, and a window that looks out onto the street. After work, Julia often sits by the window. She looks down at the street below. She sees people walking home, families together, and cars passing by. Sometimes she watches the sky. The colors change slowly in the evening, from soft blue to orange, and then to gray. A sketchbook and a pencil are on the small table next to her. Julia opens the sketchbook and makes small sketches. She draws a chair, a cup, or the shape of the trees outside. Her drawings look simple, like moments stopped on the page. But some evenings, she does not draw at all. She only sits quietly and lets her mind wander. In these quiet moments, Julia feels at peace. Her days are simple, but she does not mind. This is her quiet world. One afternoon, Julia is at the bookstore. The shop is quiet. Someone is turning the pages of a book. She is putting new books on the shelf when the small bell at the door rings. An elderly man walks in. His steps are slow, but his eyes are bright. He looks at the shelves carefully, as if every book is special. Julia gives a gentle smile and says, "Good afternoon." The man smiles back. "Good afternoon, miss. This is such a peaceful shop." Julia nods. Yes, it is. Her voice is soft, but kind. The man takes a book from the shelf. It is an old novel with a worn cover. He opens it slowly and looks at the yellowed pages. Then he says, "I used to read this when I was young." Julia listens quietly. She does not know what to say. But she hears the warmth in his voice. The man closes the book. "This book brings back many memories," he says with a small smile. The elderly man holds the book and looks at Julia. "You know," he says slowly, "I read this story when I was about your age." Julia tilts her head a little. He continues, "Back then, I had many dreams. I hoped for many things. Later, I was lucky to have family, love, and laughter." He gives a soft laugh, almost to himself. "I stayed here in this town. I worked, I raised a family. And still, this book reminds me of my past." Julia listens with her hands resting on the counter. She says nothing, but her eyes are gentle. The man looks at the worn cover again. It stayed with me for many years. Then the man walks slowly to the counter. He places the book down, gives Julia a small smile, and says, "I will take this one." Julia nods and carefully wraps the book. She can see the book means a lot to him. A few days later, the elderly man comes back to the shop. In his hands, he carries the same book. He smiles gently and offers it to Julia. "I think you should have this," he says softly. Her eyes go wide with surprise as she takes the book with care. "Oh, thank you," she says softly, and nods. That night, Julia sits by her window and opens the book. She reads about a young man who follows his dreams, fails, and then stands up again. Some of his words stay in her mind, though she cannot explain why. She keeps reading until she falls asleep with the book in her hands. In her dream, Julia sees the young man from the story. He is standing in a wide field, looking up at the sky. "Are you also looking for something?" he asks. Then he starts walking toward the horizon. Julia tries to follow, but her feet do not move. He turns back and says softly, "As time goes by, you will discover something for yourself. Even if it is small, it will still matter." His voice drifts on the wind, and slowly the field begins to fade. The sound of the grass and the color of the sky disappear into white. Julia wakes up. Morning light shines through her window. She opens her sketchbook and begins to draw the field from her dream. In the corner of the page, she writes the words she remembers. As she looks at the picture, she feels she wants to share it with the elderly man. It is the first time she wants to show her drawing to someone. Later that day, the elderly man comes again. Julia takes a deep breath and shows him the picture. "This is for you," she says. The man looks at the drawing and smiles softly. "The story from the book is now in this picture," he whispers. For a moment, they both stay quiet, looking at the drawing together. After that day, Julia never saw the elderly man again. But she remembered the words. From then on, her drawings began to change. They looked brighter than before. As if the words from the book had given her colors she did not see before. Now let's practice English together. We'll look at some useful expressions from the story. Listen carefully and repeat after me. I take a book from the shelf. I take a book from the shelf. I used to read this when I was young. I used to read this when I was young. This book reminds me of my past. This book reminds me of my past. I'll take this one. I'll take this one. I think you should have this book. I think you should have this book. Even if it is small, it will still matter. Even if it is small, it will still matter. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the story and had fun with English. See you next time with another story.